I'm now going to go through the solution for case I. If you have not attempted to find the solution on your own, then you should stop this video and attempt to solve this problem on your own before returning to um, watch the video. So, assuming that you have tried this on your own, I'm now going to go through the solution. However challenging some students find probability, this kind of problem feels very different. And this is one that all students should be able to score 100% on if you simply look at the definitions of these various statistical measures appropriate for describing sample statistics. We are given 6 observations in this case, and we're asked for the mean, the median, the variance, the standard deviation, and the interquartile range. So calculating those should be relatively straightforward. I have done the calculator work on my own ahead of time, and I'll try and go slow enough and describe exactly what I am doing when I get these numbers. So the first thing I'm going to work on is getting the mean. So how am I going to get the mean? I'm going to get the mean by summing up all the numbers and then dividing by the number of observations. And I had 6 observations. When I summed up the 6 individual values, the 28.7 plus 32.2 plus 29.4 plus 31.8 plus 24.6 plus 30.2, I got 176.9. When I divide that by 6, I get 29.48333. Keep those extra digits. Don't round in these problems until it's time to report the answers. So that's our mean. You really need those extra digits, otherwise your calculation of standard deviation will be off. Okay, we're going to come back to the median, but next I want to calculate the variance and the standard deviation. And for both of these, I'm going to need to take each observation, subtract the mean that I just calculated, take that quantity, square it, and then I'm going to sum those. So I'm just going to calculate the difference between each one of the 6 observations and the mean, and then square it. So for the first one, I take 28.7 minus 29.48333, square it, and I get 0.613611. Then I take the next one, which was 32.2 minus 29.48333, square that, and I get 7.38028. Then I go to the next one, and I had 29.4 minus 29.48333, very little difference, but when I square it, I get 0.00694. Oops, I missed an O. 6944. Next observation was 31.8 minus 29.48333. Square that, and I get 5.3669646. Then I take the next observation, which is the low one, 24.6 minus 29.48333, and square that. I get my biggest contribution here, 23.84694. Then I take 30.2 minus 29.4833333 and square that, and I get 0.513612. When I sum all those, I get 37.7308. Now, to calculate S squared, the variance, I would take that sum and divide by 5, not by 6. And if I divide by 5, I get 7.5465. And if I take the square root of that and just calculate the standard deviation, I get 2.747. So I have to make sure that I report the units on variance are percent squared, and the units on standard deviation are in percent, and I need to now go switch to calculating the median and the IQR. Now, to get either the median or the IQR, we need to reorder our observations from smallest to largest. Classic exam mistake is students forget to reorder from smallest to largest, but we'll put 24.6, the smallest, and moving up, the next one was 28.7. Then the next largest was 29.4. Then the next largest was 30.2. Then we get to 31.8. And then we get to 32.2. So to get the median, since we have an even number of observations, we can see that our median is going to be belong in the middle there, and to get it, we're going to take the average of those two values. So we take 29.4 and 30.2 and add them, divide by 2, and you'll see we get a median is equal to 29.8%. Got to remember the units. Now we just need IQR, and to get that, I need to take the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. The upper quartile we can find as the median of the top half. So since we have an odd number in our top half, then we know that the upper quartile is 31.8%, and the lower quartile would be the median of these three, which would be 28.7. So the IQR would be equal to 31.8 minus 28.7%, and I got an answer of 3.1%. So our answer to A was the sample mean is 29.483, and I'd probably just report that many units, but I have to remember to put percent. Then in B, the sample median, well, that's up here. So there's my answer to B. And then C asked for the sample variance. C asked for the sample variance, and here I'll just report 7.547% squared. Got to get those units right. Then in D, I'm asked for the sample standard deviation, and that's just the positive square root of that. So the sample standard deviation is 2.747%, and E is, what's the IQR? And that I already calculated to be 3.1%. And that's my solution to case J.